Last week, Comedy Hype released an interview with Angela Means, who played Felicia in the original Friday back in 1995. In the interview, Means answered multiple questions that has been on everyone's mind, including why she didn't return to the series and why we haven't seen her lately. During that same conversation, Means would go on to reveal the effect of her character Felicia has had on her for the last 27 years. Today we have our Comedy Hype analysts, Manika and Pierre calling to the show, along with special guests Kathleen Bradley and Theodore Barnes to give their thoughts and reactions. But first, let's take a look at this clip.
Why was there so much hate for such an obviously beautiful woman? She was kind. You didn't hear her using any profanity. You didn't hear any of that. Why would they be so unkind to a family member? Why would people be so dismissive? Why would no one defend her? And I've asked this question for 30 years. Why is it so easy for us to dismiss each other like that? That's when people come at me, and even to this day, I'll see people saying, bye, you dirty bitch, you fucked up bitch, you dumb bitch. No, not one time, not even the mother said, hey, it's Felicia. I wonder what's going on with her.
Now, I want to dive into reactions, but Kathleen, I do want to start with you because I know that you were a co-star in the original Friday as part of that original cast. So I want to come to you first, Kathleen. After seeing that clip of Angela Means, what was your thoughts and reactions to it?
Wow. You know what? I actually saw that clip a couple of days ago, and I happened to be working late last night. And I while I was working, I had it on my other monitor, and I heard the whole interview for the first time in its entirety. I do know Angela very well. She and I actually became best friends probably maybe just 10 years ago. We didn't know each other on the set, but that interview, I have to say, was riveting. That entire interview was, and I could almost be in tears now because she is such an amazing woman. And I have grown to love her. And when we traveled together, she and I and Debo traveled together, I got even more of a chance to know her. And what she is saying and how she got into that character, some of this was the first time I had ever heard about her involvement in terms of really becoming Felicia, which she did engulf that character. She made that character the character that it is today. And for her to break it down like she did, it's amazing. I'm telling you, I was just enthralled with the whole interview and everything that she had to tell about how she is now being treated by certain people. But who cares if somebody thinks she's a bitch or a junkie or a crackhead or whatever? She is by Felicia. She made that character so very famous, as did most of all of our other characters. But she brought it home, honey. Felicia, Angela Means, my girl, you can't touch her. She's been through a lot, and she has always come back, bounced back, and she's exceptional.
Absolutely, and I can feel the sincerity in your response to that. I can feel that there has to be a bond there just from seeing your emotions from that. Speaking of emotions and speaking of iconic roles, you yourself play an iconic role on Friday as Miss Parker. And that makes me wonder, like, do you feel any of the pain that she feels? Did you have to battle with any backlash, whether it was from fans or the industry when it comes to being typecast? Like, was there anything that you experienced after playing the iconic role of Miss Parker?
Actually, I never obviously didn't get any backlash. Everybody loved Miss Parker because she was the sexy next door neighbor. Women want to be me, men wanted to be with me. And after I did the movie, I was actually still on The Price is Right as, the first Black model as one of Bob Barker's beauties for 10 years. And it was being watched and people were seeing it. And as it was growing in its popularity, it brought more notoriety to me as that character. I did do a few other projects after that, but The Price is Right was so limiting with the models in terms of us being able to expand in our acting careers or what have you, that it was really kind of crazy at that time. So I was a little pushed back and not really able to expound upon it and exploit my character and go on to do other things. And I really didn't have the right representation at that time as well. But you know, that character, like I said, she's just awesome. People love her. I never really got any negative backlash. I don't read all the Instagram messages, Twitter, all that. I don't give a damn. I really don't. So like Steve Harvey was talking about it today, those are lonely people that write negative things and say nasty things. They in themselves have problems and issues and hardships. So they like to express it, which nobody really cares about. Some people let it affect them. I do not. But I didn't, not so much get typecast. I didn't do a lot of work after the show. My mother actually became ill and I had to help take care of her. So I put my acting career on the back burner.
Absolutely. And I want to be able to dive into that a little bit more in just a moment. So I want you to hold that there. Pierre, I do want to come to you to your reaction. I know we've released the clip of Angela Means, and now the full interview is available. What was your reaction to this specific clip about Angela Means' experience?
All right. First of all, I want to give a shout out to Miss Bradley. I see Black Don't Crack. Okay. Good Lord. You know what I'm saying? She said men used to want to be with her. Men still want to be with her. Okay. Luckily we got some time for space between us, but no. All right, let's talk about the Angela Means clip. First of all, she did something that most actors don't do with small roles and delve into it and put a backstory to the person. Like she said, her Meisner technique. Most people do a 1 scene or 2 scene role real small and just do it however they feel. They don't get back and get all that back thought of what they worked at, how they came about it and so forth. So she was emotionally connected to that character more than the audience was, because the audience only saw it twice. So we're not going to be that emotional connected, not know how she got there. We didn't care how she got there. And most people don't. When they see something, especially an urban comedy, we just go with what we see. Bam. It wasn't like she sat down and talked to somebody, what was it, Ice Cube, about her background and where she came from. We just saw her pop up wanting some stuff and pop out. So she's a little more emotional connected to it and wonder why we didn't care. We didn't care because we didn't really feel the need to care because we didn't see anything to care, but just her being silly and we dissing her. That's what it is. And people who watch a comedy like that don't get emotionally involved in it, the backstory. I'm sorry, we just don't do that. We laugh at what we see and keep it moving. I've been in enough comedies, that people just laughed at what I did, not like, man, where I came from, Babs, I was broke. My family was broken up. I came from, trying to do the best I could from Babs, blah, blah, blah. So we don't do that. And it's unfair to kind of ask the audience to do that, especially in a hood comedy movie. But I understand her feeling, because she went deep down and said, I've decided to make this character more than you guys see. And you guys just kind of pushed her to the side. But then again, that's DJ Pooh's responsibility to put that out and bring it up, make the audience connect to that role so we can feel that way. But being in and out of a scene, people are going to do what they're going to do. Laugh, diss her, laugh and keep it moving. And, unfortunately, that's what happened with her. And for her to say the backlash, like Ms. Bradley just said, people are going to be online saying all kinds of stuff. In these comments right now, people are going to say, I don't like what Pierre said. He whack. It is what it is. Hey, I just say keep my name in your mouth, okay? Because it helps me, stay relative, okay? Relevant. Thank you.
Manika, let me bring you in. What was your reaction to this Angela Means clip?
I first of all, also giving respect to Miss Kathleen and just the honor. Thank you for being here and talking about it. I love the way that you also are supporting Angela, because sometimes women, when we see that's very emotional and that's got a lot of mixed reviews. And so it's easy to step away from it and go, I don't know what was going on with her. That's her journey. But I'm somebody who was classically trained in the theater. And when I was trained in the theater, there were about maybe 4 techniques. I think there may be 8 techniques now. What people don't understand, and what I agree with Pierre, is people don't understand the work behind the scenes. So people don't understand the Stanislavski method. They don't understand, that Meisner is a derivative of that. They don't understand that because that method is so intricate and involved in you replacing that character with yourself, that there have been other methods that people have used to distance themselves, more like doing a through line for the character, a story, so you can go by points and moments of emotion in that character's life instead of immersing yourself in that character. It's very draining. And it's something that it seems like at no point no one gave her the freedom to wash that character off of her. She just kept it on. And so I don't fault her for doing that kind of deep dive in a movie that people go, oh, that's Friday. She didn't have to do all of that work. Glad she did that work. She was a very memorable character because of the work that she did. I just think it's unfortunate that, you know, sure, people are just razzing people and stuff like that, but I wish we would take more responsibility as human beings when we do see people that give their creativity and their body of work, when we see them in the streets, that we don't attack them for the characters that they're playing and not associate them with that character.
Right, and I hope after seeing the interview and seeing this conversation, a lot more people are able to step away from being so connected where they see the actress or actor as the character. But Theodore, I want to come to you because I know you're a young actor and right now you have a placement on Miss Pat's show. I want to ask you, you know, when you're going into your roles, having this conversation, how do you prepare, you know, for your characters?
Well, I want to add to, that's the first time I've ever seen that clip too. So that's, you know, wild to me. But for me, preparing for a role, you know, my goal is to make the character as much like me as possible, especially if I'm going into audition for it. You know, I'm not a nerd, but I'm not a jock. I'm not the biggest person in the world. I'm not the scariest, but I'm not timid either. So, you know, it's always about finding that common ground, you know, going in there and making them like you know, bringing something to the table, so to speak, and not just, you know, the words on the paper. But yeah, I want to add to, you know, that interview as well. I didn't know she put in all of that. You know, I've seen Friday multiple times, but I know that she, you know, she had 2 scenes. I didn't know that she really took that deep dive. And I think acting, you know, putting acting to the side, she put in work for something, and she felt like she you know, she didn't get that I won't say protection, but she did a job and she didn't really get, you know, paid for it in a way. You know, she kind of got the back end of it. I loved her character, shoot. So, you know, it's kind of crazy, but, you know, like you said, there's a lot of lonely people out there, and some people don't even realize that it's just a movie, you know, and I'm talking about the world.
Right.
You know, even being out, you know, people ask you things and it's like, no, that's not really my mom. That's just my mom on the show. So it's a lot of stuff that goes into it. And, you know, people just, you gotta be mentally strong, but sometimes it's hard. Shoot, words hurt.
Yeah, and I think you bring a great point, Theodore, and I want to ask you this. You know, when we're seeing instances like this, I think, especially as new actors or actresses, it gives you some insight, right? Things to think about and how to handle your career. So I want to ask you, how are you preparing yourself, you know, as you move forward and as you grow more to maybe avoid situations like this or be prepared for them if, you know, this was to be a case for you?
Shoot, I mean, having conversations like this, you know, I just turned 20 a couple weeks ago. So it's, you know, I take it one day at a time. You know, even how I got in acting is rare. So, you know, everything that I've been doing these past 10 years has literally been one day at a time. And when stuff comes, it comes, and I move accordingly. And if it doesn't, great. But if it does, you know, cool. I'm gonna be there to buckle down for it. And I don't think there is a way to prepare, you know, for anything, because you just don't know, you know, when things might come. They don't come, you know, you never know. Like Kathleen said, you know, she had to put her acting career, you know, in the back seat. You got to take care of your moms. So you just don't know, you know, so.
Absolutely. Well, let me bring in some veterans here to kind of talk about maybe their experience or ways that they've kind of combated Pierre. I'll start with you. You know, in situations like this or throughout your career, how did you combat or how did you handle situations, maybe if it's similar to this, or even if we are talking about, you know, being typecast and things like that, what are some advice or some of the things that you learned in your journey?
It's up to you and your agent willing to put you out there, but sometimes casting directors don't bring you in if you're that known for a character. Unfortunately, it's sad as things happen. I produce my own movies, you know, for those who've seen For the Love of Money, shout out to that. I got 3 other movies putting out this year, horror comedy. I just produce my own movies. Sometimes we got to do our own thing, you know. So, I mean, you know, as far as that concerned, I make my own or just try to audition for what I can audition for. It's going to be what it's going to be. But, you know, it is, you know, I mean, what can you do? Just keep working and hopefully you're not typecasted. But sometimes, like I said, the public loves that character so much, sometimes it's hard to do something different.
Kathleen, I want to come back to you. I know you talked about, you know, having to walk away, but then you also felt there was a little bit of you being typecast. How did you handle that, you know, in the moments where you did feel like you were being typecast? And is there anything that you learned in that experience that you would pass on to people to say, hey, this is a way to, you know, to prevent it or, you know, handle it?
First of all, it's a catch-22.
Mm-hmm.
And if you're typecast, well, damn, you must have been doing something right because they want your ass back to do the same thing.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So I'm not too upset with that. But being an actor, you want to expand, you want to step out of the realm. You don't want to be known specifically for that one particular character all your life, which is fine. But then you want to make sure, like it's hard for a comedian to do a real serious drama. A lot of our comedians now that are funny and, you know, Kevin Hart and different people have now ventured into doing a little bit more serious kind of movies. And Chris Rock. And at first glance, you look at them and you just want to laugh because they're funny and they're known for being comedians. But then they start doing their dialogue and you see that, wow, you know, there's more to that character than just the same old comedian and person of that nature. Like there's more to Kathleen Bradley. I have done various other roles. But the one I've done actually recently, it's really Miss Parker on steroids. It's called The Daughters of Dolomite. And she's from a body. She is. She's in the prison and she's a sex bomb right there in the prison, going through all these prisoners trying to get some information. So, you know, that's definitely typecast. So it is a little tough. And sometimes you mind it and sometimes you don't. And now, like Pierre said, we have to do our own movies and we have to try to give ourselves something to help grow within the industry if we're not giving that opportunity to do so.
Absolutely. No, I think you bring up a great point and perspective. Yeah, Manika, I want to bring you in as a veteran as well. You know, when it comes to the industry, there's a lot of things to take into account or keeping your mind. But one of the things, you know, is being typecast or, you know, just combating different things, whether it's, you know, backlash from the media and your audience and fans and all these types of things. How do you combat that or handle that as you're navigating and as you have been navigating in your career?
Well, I mean, Miss Kathleen says she doesn't mind being typecast, but she's always going to be typecast as a beautiful woman. I'm going to be typecast as a big bitch frying fish. Okay, or the big bitch that get diarrhea at the airport.
Damn.
So which recently happened, but I will say this. I will say this. It's something that the young gentleman, Theodore, said. He brings himself to the character, you know, and then the character derives from him. And I think when there's humor, a lot of times it can't come from you because the comedy is coming from you as the character. Sometimes in dramatic roles, it's hard to reach certain places of trauma that you haven't seen or experienced, and you have to go find those places. But like, I mean, right now I have 3 shows on. I play 3 different characters on 3 shows that are streaming right now. I play Amy Schumer's best friend on Life and Beth. I play a therapist on Flatbush Misdemeanor. And I'm also a few characters on That Damn Michael Che show, which I was also in the writer's room of. So for me, I always find a way that I know there's things that are funny about me, and then I try to move from those places. So I do agree with that. So if you're coming from a place of you, it's hard to be typecast because you're sort of playing who you are. But I do understand the importance of, not as a Black woman, but as Black people. Really, the problem has been us being able to have, because so many of the projects for us have been limited. You know, white people have the ability to be an astronaut in one thing, to be a homeless vagrant in another thing, to have all these ranging characters because we give them such a span in movies and in life. And Black people, our story have been so limited until recently. If it wasn't something about slavery or us suffering or things like that, we haven't really had opportunities to play outside of that character. So I hope that that changes as, you know, we move forward. And I hope that we as a community, again, not giving any credit to white people, but saying to us, remember, if we want things to change and we want things to be better in our community, we have to take the steps to do that, to go support more movies that may be out of our comfort zone, but to see Black people doing movies that you may not necessarily watch, and give things a chance. So we open up our bandwidth on who we are as people.
Absolutely. And I think there's a clear saying of, you know, there's not a seat at the table, you go and create your own. So we just need to keep creating our own and showing up to that table. But I appreciate you all for chiming in on this topic. Before we head out, I always like to know what you have coming up and how people can keep up with you. So Theodore Barnes, I'm going to start with you. Congratulations for landing the role on the Miss Pat show. But if you can tell everyone what you have coming up and how can people follow you?
Oh yeah, you know, still auditioning, still embracing season 2 being out, and follow me on Instagram at Theodore Barnes, just my name, and you know, just happy to be alive and well.
Absolutely, and we're happy that you were able to join us today. The iconic Miss Kathleen Bradley, thank you as well for joining us. I was trying so hard all this time, like, I'm not gonna say Miss Parker, I'm not gonna say Miss Parker. No, but
You know, I have a 14-year-old grandson. He's got Down syndrome. It's my heart, my baby. He lives here with my husband and I, and my daughter's so busy and everything. But he calls me Miss Parker all the time. Hey, Miss Parker. And I find him looking at the clip on his phone on YouTube. He's seen it so many times. And Miss Parker and his dad, all of his friends and everybody's, Miss Parker, that's your mama. I mean, your grandmother, that's your grandmother. And even my kids, they used to get ribbed. Miss Parker, that's your mama at school. They used to do it all the time. But you know, I'm grateful for it. It's done so much for me in my career. I wouldn't have it any other way.
Absolutely. And I know there's so much more to you than Miss Parker. So if you can let us know what you have coming up and how can people follow you.
Right now, I have follow me by Kathleen Bradley _ Mrs. Parker and Kathleen Bradley on Facebook. But I did a little short docu-series, not a series, a short film called Checks and Balances, along with my manager, who's Ro Brooks. Ro Brooks used to be on The Haves and the Have-Nots and Tyler Perry. And that was a nice little short I did. I was a newscaster, no big stretch there. But I was saying again, upcoming should be Daughters of Dolomite. Foster Corder, he is the director and writer, and it is about Dolomite having 3 daughters that he didn't know about, Hispanic, Black, and Asian, and they all find him. He has a detective agency. And like I said, my character in this is like Miss Parker on crack personified, honey. But it's funny, and it's just, I love comedy. First of all, people who know me know that I am really extremely funny and crazy, and normally say a lot of things that get me in trouble. As a matter of fact, my manager said, "Now don't go on there saying nothing like you did when you talk about Little Kim and saying stuff like that." I said, "I shall say what I want. Thank you very much." But I got a lot of good stuff happening. I'm blessed, you know, commercials. I've been doing a lot of that and some print work and just keeping busy and just staying healthy. That's the first thing I'm doing, is staying healthy.
Absolutely. And congratulations to you as well. We look forward to seeing Miss Parker on steroids. We'll definitely look out for that one. Pierre, I'll come up to you. What do you have coming up and how can people follow you?
Sorry, I'm in the middle of writing a movie. Manika walks through TSA with diarrhea. What's up? I'm the shit. That's okay. I'm just in the middle of writing my sorry. I'm almost done. You know what it is? I'm trying to give Manika what she wants, okay? I'm about to write you a nice
Thank you.
Getting off through the airport. All right. So August 27th, this Saturday, I'll be in Raleigh, North Carolina at the Duke Energy Center. So y'all in Raleigh, North Carolina, holler at your boy. Me and a whole bunch of comedians doing the Duke Energy Theater. Looking forward to seeing y'all. And also when you see me live, say you see me on Comedy Hype News. And so let me know that. So, and follow me at Comic Pierre on all the social media platforms.
Absolutely. Now, Manika, we were this close. We were this close through getting through today without any jokes. But I'll kick it over to you, Manika. What do you have coming up, and how can people follow you?
Well, first of all, I love it. Please write a role for me. Okay. I want to be in a Pierre production. Okay.
I got you.
Okay.
I got you.
I think this, yes, me and Miss Kathleen, we'll turn it up. Okay. I'll also be one of the daughters of Dolomite. I'll be the great daughter who is just specifically coming to see if there's ham hocks and checks.
Ham hocks too? Okay,
I'm gonna make it just as crazy as I can for Pierre. And this was such a great conversation. I'm just really so glad for our two guests today, and just what a blessing to be in in movie royalty with Miss Kathleen. And Mr. Theodore is so funny and smart, and I just know he'd have an amazing time with Miss Pat, who's just super amazing and incredible. I love her to death. I think she's one of the funniest people in the world. What I got going on, I'll just tell you this week. I'm in Las Vegas. I already told y'all. I'll be here at the Rio. I'm at the Comedy Cellar Rio. I will be here until Sunday night. So if you want to see me this week and you in Las Vegas, come on by and have a good time.
Absolutely. Well, congratulations to you as well. And Pierre, make sure you write me in the movie too. Just everybody needs to be in the movie at this point. Everybody. I
got your lips. Okay, your lips are in the movie. Lips walk in the thing.
I appreciate you all for chiming in on this topic. I do think this was a beautiful conversation. I'm grateful that Angela Means was able to sit down and reveal, things that she's experienced so that we can kind of get that insight as well. So thank you all for chiming in on this topic. You heard from us. Now we want to hear from you in the comments below. What are your thoughts on Angela Means revealing the effect of her character Felicia has had on her for the last 27 years? For Comedy Hype News, I'm Symphony Thompson.
Put it in those comments.
What's up? I'm Terrence Sims. For years, you come to us to get the latest news in comedy and for your favorite comedians. Now, you can come to us for even more news in the world of sports, music, and pop culture. We're bringing you some of our classic shows you love, like Unforgotten, the Comedy Hype News Show, and more one-on-one interviews. We're more than just laughs, we're the culture, the leader in truth. And well, your streamer got a little more blacker. Welcome to Hype Plus.